Good day to Dr. Idris and the other lecturers for Engineers in Society. My name is Wong Wei Kien, and me and my group will be discussing in regards to the Visakhapatnam gas leak, which occurs quite recently. So I'll be giving an introduction for this report. So what is a gas leak? A gas leak is an unplanned release of natural or other gases from pipelines or other containments to an open area which the gas should not be present. These gas can cause severe health problems and is harmful towards the environment. If the gases are inflammable, explosive, toxic or corrosive, a leak of any scale, big or small, may require a hazmat response. Even though the Bhopal incident was one of the well-known major industrial catastrophes, some of the more subtle low-level leaks have been gaining notoriety this past few years. So that's it for an introduction. I would like to pass the floor to my colleagues to discuss the background of the company involved.
With a dark history of deadly gas leaks, India remains an important topic of discussion. But to start things off, let us first take a look at LG Polymers India. Located in Visakhapatnam, India, LGPI, originally known as Hindustan Polymers, was bought over by South Korean company LG Chemicals in 1997 and is one of the largest polymer manufacturing plants around the world. It houses over 500 employees due to its large 650-ton styrene-based production. Styrene monomer in itself is used to produce plastic products such as polystyrene and expandable polystyrene. It is a colorless liquid that produces an aromatic smell. However, it is also highly volatile and poses a threat to both humans and animals since it's been known to be a mutagen and be carcinogenic. Now, back to the main topic in hand. During India's COVID-19 lockdown that took place on the 24th of March, the storage tanks that were left with minimal supervision. Therefore, on the early morning of the 7th of May, a leak of the styrene vapors managed to travel downwind to a residential site, affecting over 5,000 people with 800 hospitalized and 12 deaths reported thus far, including children. Even animal deaths were reported as well. Due to speculation of misconduct and negligence, our topic discussed from here on will be on the Vizag gas leak incident.
My name is Navindran with the matrix ID 23799 and I'll be discussing on the technical reasons for failure in the Vizag gas leak. The main component was the styrene gas, which poses multiple health threats to living organisms, especially humans, and in acute cases of exposure, it could cause respiratory and breathing problems, whereas in chronic exposure, it could cause severe damage to the central nervous system. The styrene gas is a colorless gas which undergoes polymerization whenever it reaches above 18 degrees Celsius. Here is a timeline of the technical negligence carried out in Vizag plant which led to the accident. In August of 2016, the Labour Department of India detected damaged cement cladding protection for the styrene storage tanks. Later in December 2019, the water sprinkler pipes for the cooling system was found to be corroded, and in recent discovery after the accident, it was found that several tanks in the facility was corroded in the internal. The storage tanks were found to be old without proper corrosion coating, which allowed for the polymerization inhibitors to carry out corrosion of the storage tank. This led to the adhesion process of the condensed styrene vapor, which affected the roof of the chamber and also the safety devices within the tank. The buildup of this polymer allowed for unwanted reaction between the styrene and the iron oxides from the rust to further promote polymerization. Moving on. The styrene was left in the storage tank in stagnant state for up to 44 days due to the lockdown from the COVID-19 pandemic. The stagnancy allowed for the inhibitors to settle at the bottom of the tank, while the styrene occupied the top region of the tank, which promoted vaporization and self-polymerization. The temperature gradient formed here due to the polymerization contributed to the failure of the temperature meters, which could not give proper readings. Lastly would be the failure of the emergency response mechanism. The siren warning systems were stopped using due to the change in managerial roles, and the newer administration did not want to use the alarms and the sirens, and this led to malfunctions due to it not being maintained well, and also the siren failed to engage during the actual day of the event. Thank you.
Irrespective of the business size, ethical codes are expected to be followed through by the employees as it reflects the company's work culture. However, as of March 2020, LG Polymers was found to have carried out several misconducts, and the decisions made did not reflect on an ethical basis, which claimed the loss of public life. The first consideration is the environmental clearance. The Ministry of Environment claimed to receive the forms only a month prior to the incident, which means the plant had been continuing its operation without any form of documentation. The clearance form is important as it contains all pollutants from the chemical and petrochemical businesses under the first schedule. The company had actually applied and sought alleged concerns from the Andhra Pradesh board. However, the Ministry of Environment had invalidated the clearance due to authorization matters and violation of production capacity. The plant had also surpassed regulatory boundaries, producing 650 tons of polystyrene per day, which is 57.8% more than the usual capacity. The next consideration is undermining process safety and negligence. The CEO and his executives were arrested as investigations showed proof of weak protocols and low emergency measures being implemented. BBC also reported that emergency alarms had not been functioning since 2017. The emergency response mechanism is important to provide detection of irregularities of pressure and temperature controls. Now, from the CEO and his subordinates' perspective, profiting and upholding the new plant capacity is our priority instead of considering the amount of risks involved, thus exhibiting the level of criminal act and negligence with being intentionally oblivious to the styrene vapor disastrous impacts. And lastly, the violation of human rights. The incident has brought the attention of Human Rights Commission of India under the Right to Life statuses and urged the Corporate Affairs Ministry to further scrutinize all unlawfully acts exhibited by the industry, with reference to the Indian Penal Code. The incident had caused effects in the residents surrounding 6 km of the affected area. 9,000 residents were obliged to evacuate their premises as well. The situation had worsened the current state of the country as they were already battling and dealing with the recent outspread of COVID-19 virus. Thus, by having them forced outside their premises was without a doubt contravening the people's right and social justice.
Hi, my name is Lyra Tan, and I will be talking on the recommendations to prevent. Now, firstly, the internal surface of the storage tanks were corroded. This could have easily been avoided if the storage tanks were frequently coated with a sort of coating which would inhibit the corrosion caused. Secondly, there was an inadequate amount of inhibitor at the plant, causing the monomer styrene to polymerize, thus causing an exothermic reaction. This could have been avoided by keeping track of the stock of the inhibitor in a rare case of emergency like this. Also, the inhibitor levels could have been monitored more carefully by algae polymer to prevent the polymerization process. Thirdly, the styrenes may not have had sufficient oxygen present, rendering the inhibitor ineffective, thus inducing the same exothermic reaction as I mentioned earlier. Algae polymer should have performed more proper and regular checks on the level indicators, as well as check on the pipes if they may have been blocked by something. Also, a low flow alarm could also have been set on the stream of the oxygen to alert the workers of the plant. Fourthly, because of the lockdown due to COVID-19, the styrene tanks were left stagnant, which caused the inhibitor to settle down to the bottom, thus pushing all the styrene up to the top to vaporize. Now, this could have been avoided by agitating the styrene tanks every so often in order to avoid the settling of the inhibitor. Now, aside from various gas leak prevention methods, an emergency response system could also have been implemented by the algae polymer, because according to Styrene Producers Association 2008, a 20-minute notice would have been more than sufficient to sound the residents nearby to ensure that no one suffered any health effects from this disaster. Thank you.
I would like to thank my groupmates for providing such detailed explanations on the incident. So I will be concluding our presentation here. Due to the criminal negligence by the management, the gas leak has caused 12 deaths and hospitalized more than 800 people. Many of these casualties could have been avoided if the management took serious precaution in ensuring the fail-safe system, such as the cooling system of the styrene storage, was working properly. The management should have also considered that during the COVID-19 pandemic, the styrene monomer, which was left under the hot weather for such a long time, could have turned stagnant and easily undergo any sort of reaction. So that's all for our group. Thank you.